What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks. And we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks. Cause True Talks, alright? Let's get straight right into it. So you already know, man, bruh. Oh man, another trade has been made, another one. Bruh, all these elite trades happening, but last night was definitely a big trade. It was a trade between the Washington Wizards and the Houston Rockets, something that has been speculated from time. I just didn't think they were going to do it. There was rumblings and talks about the James Harden and from the Rockets side to go to the Nets and James Harden, KD and Kawhi and Kyrie and all that type of stuff. But I figured that shit was capped and that's probably not going to happen. But again, you know what I mean? Maybe a forced, just probably was a way to just force Russell Westbrook to kind of get out because he wanted to get out. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think that they're probably going to do that. We don't know. They might end up doing it, but to me, it just would be stupid on Houston's side to get rid of James Harden like that when you're like, he's literally a top 5 player. You know what I mean? Like top 5 scorer. And, it's just top 5, like top 3, bro. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, this is what it looks like. So definitely, like, you don't just trade him for nothing and no cerebral all-star. That's why they're like, we're only trading him if we get Kyrie back. Like, we can't just, it makes no sense. So anyways, now we have a trade between the Wizards. So this was something they were talking about before. They traded John Wall. The Wizards traded John Wall and a first-round pick to the Rockets. The Rockets got, you know what I mean, John Wall in the first-round picks, and the Rockets traded to the Wizards Russell Westbrook just by himself. So basically that's what it was. It was a Russell Westbrook for John Wall swap and just one pick, included. But it was just, basically it's like, this is one of the situations where both kind of win. But this is why I kind of was like hesitant to believe that they were going to pull this trigger, because John Wall and Westbrook are the same type of player. They've always been the same type of player. Westbrook, obviously his shooting has been less over the last couple of years, but before he's been like subpar, decent shooter who could hit the 3 here and there, just like John Wall, subpar, decent shooter, like will take it, can hit it, you know what I mean? But it's not high percentage at it. But, from mid-range and down below in paint and aggression and athleticism and going to the free throw line, and even their free throw percentage was always solid and always above average. And they were just athletic and then had vision. Obviously Wall's vision is way better than Westbrook's vision, but their assist numbers are the same. Westbrook gets assists based off of just the attention he draws, and he's increased his vision or his willingness to pass. It's not like threading the needle type of vision, but it's like I draw some because I'm so fast and so explosive. I just get assists off of this, right? So regardless, stats wise, they're putting up the same type of, their play style's just the same. You know what I'm saying? So now the only way I'm like more happy or more, if I'm a Houston fan, where I'm like, I have more hope, more faith in terms of play style differences. Cause like, you understand, Harden been through this with Chris Paul, another point guard sharing duties, who can have vision, who can actually run the point by himself, but is sharing it and can play off the ball, has worked on it and showed it. Played with him, worked to a certain extent, then didn't work, right? Same thing with Westbrook, a different type of version of a Chris Paul, less shooting, less shot created, but more explosive, more blow by, all that type of stuff. And what happened? It didn't work because of his limited, his shooting and shot creating limitations. When Harden now has the ball, he can't really play off ball, or he's not a threat like that. Only when he cuts, and even then they just sag off and kind of leave him or put a big on him. So it's just play style clashing, right? So now when you look at it, they're doing something similar in a John Wall. The only way this for the Rockets may fully work is if John Wall now is a complete different player, which he kind of looks like he is. I've been seeing the workouts. I've been seeing how he's been looking. Obviously, he's had 2 years to redefine himself in terms of his shooting, in terms of his shot creating, in terms of his bag and his arsenal, individually. He had the Achilles tear, but it's on his non-dominant leg. So he's left-handed, right? when your dominant leg for a left-handed player is your right leg. He tore his left leg, right? So he is going to still be explosive. That's why he's still dunking on these videos you see, doing 360s, doing punching, doing like, he's still athletic. He's moving quick, like he's moving like he didn't really lose a step. And when I look at it from that perspective, I see him still getting to the cup, still doing what he do. You know what I mean? That shit easy for him. That's light work. But I'm seeing him do dribble pull-ups. I'm seeing him shoot from three, pull up from three. I'm seeing him do stuff like that where he normally was reluctant to do, only did if he had to, like a necessity, shot clock, or, it's clutch. And like, even he has some clutch threes too. And just from just that raw clutch ability where it's like, yo, I have to find a way, right? Derrick Rose also sometimes did this. He wasn't a great shooter from three, but like that clutch ability makes you do something you don't really often do because it's just about getting the bucket when it's time. You just have something in you that just makes you I'm hitting this bitch. And you just get extreme confidence. People who love that moment, people who are that killer, that true killer, right? John Wall, low key was one of those. Like he had a lot of fourth quarter, big time shots, big time plays. He'll do his mid-range pull-up. He'll sometimes shoot three, like when he was facing IT in the Celtics. He hit a three, run to the to the commentator's table and jump up on it. All that type of stuff. So if you're paying attention, like he's been steadily increasing his pull-up bag and his jump shot bag, right? But if he comes to be like who's a perfect example? Like I can't even. If he comes to basically be like a Chris Paul, like a more explosive Chris Paul, he can shoot in gaps, he can shot create because he has vision like Chris Paul. He has dimes like Chris Paul, right? If he comes to be a Chris Paul version of himself, meaning he's still athletic, more athletic than Chris Paul, younger than Chris Paul, all that type of stuff, but he has more of that dancing bag, that pull-up mid-range bag, run the pick and roll, stop at the pull-up and shoot the free throw fade and stuff like that instead of just going to the cup. All of that probing type of CP3 arsenal or ability off the pick and roll and stuff, and he has that. And James Harden plays a complete different way where he's not just dribble, step back. He's actually coming off screens, running pick and roll with Wood because it's not all small ball. Christian Wood running pick and roll with him. Also coming off a down screen, shooting coming off a down screen or, running pick and roll with Boogie. They go to the post sometimes with Boogie because remember Cousins is there. So like they have like talent. They have extreme talent. Those four guys are very talented. You still have Eric Gordon. You still have PJ Tucker who plays shoot the corner. You know what I'm saying? You still have defense. You still have some guys. They brought back Gerald Green now because obviously they lost Jeff Green. They got to keep one of the Greens. You know what I'm saying? So they still have shooting. They still have shot creating. They still have, scoring off the bench, all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like you still have Daniel House, stuff like that. Like you still have shooting, new coach, new system maybe. So this could actually be something where it works. Like Wall is a better version of Westbrook in terms of less weaknesses and more play style he could do. Right? Westbrook is more his one way now. That's what he's just been. It's too late for him to change. That's what he's just been. And his shooting even been decreasing. So he's even forced to be this if he still wants to be at least a player. Right? So it just play style completely clashed with Westbrook. I understand Wall's like a type of version of him, but can maybe give you more different types of play styles, ability that you can maybe use, especially if he's becoming a different player after his injury. So you never know how it works out. You know what I mean? I still think it's going to be good. I still think there'll be a top team in the West. You know what I mean? It's just whether Harden buys into this. You know what I mean? Because I know Boogie and Wall are obviously great friends. That's obviously maybe part of the reason why they pulled the trigger on this, because it's like, okay, we have someone who could maybe get the best out of Boogie. Right? Off the court, on the court, right? James Harden is James Harden. Or it could be a sign that James Harden is going to be out of here. I don't fully know, but I think they're going to keep him. I don't think they're going to look to ship him unless stock rises during the season. Opportunities come during the season from other teams who are like, yo, let's get this man. Let's offer the couch. Let's offer the kitchen sink. Let's offer our mortgage. Offers the whole team. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. But like when you look at it from that perspective, like I said, it is a bit of an upgrade. And in terms of the Washington Wizards, how they're getting Westbrook, it's also a bit of an upgrade because, again, I think Wall and Beal were having issues. Might not be them exactly, but issues with management because management is trying to cater to Beal before they were trying to cater to Wall. Wall has an issue with that. They might have been telling Wall one thing, telling Beal one thing. Like, it's one of, those, how it works with that You know what I mean? Like a T-Mac Vince type of situation. You know how it works with that. It's just, sometimes it's like you have to let one flee and let one, blossom. Because, again, Wall has been injured this whole time and Beal has stepped up. Beal has added playmaking. He's added ball handling. He doesn't even need to do that. He's literally a person who has literally no weakness offensively, too. So he's one of those guys, too. So when you look at it from that perspective, he could definitely thrive with Wall. With Westbrook, downhill, tenacity, get the rebound, all that type of stuff fits perfectly with Beal. Beal is the same type of thing. So the only difference for Washington is is more so, I guess, durability is a big thing probably for them because, again, Wall has durability questions. He hasn't played for them in a long time and he's coming off an injury and it's like, do we really want to go through this again where we can actually get guaranteed 8 or 80 games or whatever Westbrook's playing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you look at it from that. He has been injured a 1-2, but it's not nearly close as John Wall. He's still going to play. He's still going to end with the playoffs. He's going to, finish the season. You want to bring box office back to, because Westbrook has higher box office than Wall, obviously, with his triple doubles and all the stuff that he's been doing and a bigger name. Has been an MVP, all of that, right? John Wall's kind of like a lower tier version, but might be a better, no weakness version of Westbrook. So that's what Houston need. They don't need like MVP. You already have that. They need play style shifters, people who could play multiple play styles. Westbrook was more limited. Wall is a version of Westbrook, can do multiple play styles. Westbrook is more limited, but he has people around him who could do multiple play styles. You have Bertans, he could shoot. You have Rui, who could do whatever he could do. He's a mellow type of player, but could shoot. He's hella elite, right? And then you also have Beal, who could do anything, right? You have Thomas Bryant, who could now pop. He could also roll, all that type of stuff. You got guys there. You got the new guy the rookie coming in. You got a lot of talent there that they have. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it from that perspective. This just brings, excitement to Washington. They've been having, they were ninth out of the bubble, just barely scratched it. Now you add him, it's just obviously, even if you had a Wall, it's still the same thing, but it's just maybe security issues for them. You know what I mean? To me, it's like it's a big trade in terms of Houston because of what it could actually potentially be, but they're like the same type of players, like I said. So it's not. I was just surprised they actually did it. You know what I mean? So I don't have too much in depth about this one because it's just they're too similar. Like I said, they're very, very similar. My only in depth thing is like if I'm to look at Wall and how he's supposed to transition to being a different person, a different player, then I could see it doing better. But even then, you still had a Chris Paul with Harden, didn't work. You know what I mean? You had a Westbrook with Harden, didn't work. But that's out of context because, again, that's the small ball versions of those guys. Obviously, they had Capella before with Chris Paul, but they didn't have like scoring type of centers. Like Wood could score. He's not a scoring type of center, but he could score. He's not limited like Capella because he could pop whatever. Boogie could pop whatever. Like it's the same type of thing. These are like they could score. So you actually have a 5 that could get you buckets. So you can actually have a big 3 situation. So when you look at it from that perspective, that's something they've never had in terms of Harden still had another point guard, but didn't have a third. His third was Eric Gordon. Now you add Eric Gordon, that's a 4th, right? You add Boogie, that's a 5th, right? Or you add Wood, that's a 5th, either however you interchange it, right? So, they have more firepower offensively in terms of from different positions. That's something that could unlock them going further because now you can get easier points instead of just resorting to chuck threes or resorting to a step back 3. You could do a pick and roll. You could do, go to the post. Every team has a guy that could just dump to the post or the high post or mid post. Now you have that. You have that part. Or maybe Harden unlocks that part of his game too. Getting these other type of play styles maybe unlocks Harden to go to different play styles. You have a different coach. Like there's so many different dynamics, even with a similar dynamic, that it gets intriguing. It gets interesting. It might not be the same results that you see, right? So when I look at it from that's my only deep level IQ. That's what I do. Context that I could actually look at. You know what I mean? I could actually see and be like, can I foreshadow? Can I see? Can I envision? You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at. And that's I still think they could be a 3 to 6 seed, 3 to 5th seed, depending on, how the Suns do. Like, again, I have high expectations for the Suns more than what other people have. But, there's a window for them to increase a bit, right? So, we'll see. And on the Wizards side, how do they improve, etc. So we'll see how this goes. Let me know what y'all think of this trade. I think that I kind of like it because, again, what it means for Houston. Wizards is just more box office, more attention because, again, Westbrook is more box office than Wall. So it does help them with impacting seats, impacting money. And also, too, they would win, but they could still win even with John Wall. Like, you know what I mean? They're the same, but just Westbrook is more box office, so it helps them, and more insurance, more durability. And in terms of the Houston, it's more so Wall has more play styles he can maybe tap into and is less limited, right, at this point in time in their career. So, or as if they get the Wall that I think they're getting, right, which is the new Wall off the Achilles injury. So we'll see how it goes, man. This is what it looks like regardless. You know what I mean? We'll see how it goes. Obviously, you already know it's True Talks, because True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You already know. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You already know, man. I appreciate y'all. Again, you already know. Share, like, and subscribe. Do all of that. And we got more coming. We got more coming like always. You already know, man. I appreciate y'all. Love and support again. If y'all want to donate to your boy, click the PayPal link below to do a one-time donation. And if you want to donate often or every month, you know what I mean, for just as little as $2 a month, and where it takes it out, you set it and forget it. Click the Patreon link below. I appreciate y'all, man, no matter what. Appreciate y'all, man. Man, can't wait for this season to start, man. We got a lot. You already know. And I'm out, man.